information from the conversations we're going to have today. So first things first, I want to share a screen with you guys. I want to show you something that I think is very valuable. Let's see if I can do this now. Yeah, okay. So looking at some of my old trainings from when we did the masterminds in person back at Culture, and we created a 6-step approach to getting more appointments. Very simple, not something that's going to like revolutionize anything. It's standard, but it works. You know, it definitely works. So number one, when you get someone on a phone or you door knock, whatever it is that you do, or maybe you just meet somebody at the grocery store, number one is building instant rapport. Number one is always building that rapport. If you don't build a rapport, then it's going to be very difficult to have anyone allow you to come to their house. You need a little rapport, even if it's for a few seconds, or even if it's for like, you could turn into 5-10 minute phone call about just whatever it is that you're building rapport on, and then you can get down to the business right after. But building rapport is super critical, vital. Okay, we'll talk about that in a second when we go into some live examples. Then we want to get them excited. We want to get them excited about anything and everything. So for instance, today I was listening to a podcast, or maybe call it a YouTube video, I guess we would call it YouTube video, from a guy named Kevin Harrington. And he's one of the original sharks from Shark Tank. You guys, if you guys ever saw the first few seasons, he was one of the original guys there. And the reason why is because that's actually what he did for a living. He would take entrepreneurs and he would partner with them and help them build their businesses even bigger. You guys remember the guy, what's his name? The guy, the OxyClean guy, Billy Mays. Remember that guy? I think he passed away from like a tragic event. Well, he discovered him. You know, he built out the ab isolator with Tony Little. I don't know if you guys remember that. I mean, if some of you guys remember back in the day, all these things this guy Kevin Harrington did. But what Kevin Harrington talked about today in the video I was watching is that when it comes to selling and closing, there are certain things and principles that you have to follow in order to be able to close people or to get them to give you the business. And you have to get creative. You definitely have to think outside of the box. So one of the things that he talked about that he would do is he would go to a neighborhood, and he used to have a business of seal coating driveways. So seal coating, what that means is basically you're sealing their driveways with tar. So that way, when it rains, the water doesn't get into the cracks and makes the cracks even worse. It seals it up. So it's a temporary fix. Most people use it probably for a few years until they have to get their driveways eventually redone. Are you guys still following me? Because I think I lost you guys for a second. Can you guys just let me know if you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay.
Yes, I hear you.
Good. So what he would do is he would go to these neighborhoods where he had no business whatsoever, not one client, and it'd be very hard for him to establish any business. And he'd go there and he would do a driveway for free. He'd go to someone's house and say, listen, your driveway needs a lot of work. I'm new in this area and I'd like to promote myself. Would you mind if I seal coated your driveway for free? So you would think that like, well, that's a losing proposition, but he would seal coat this driveway. He'd take pictures of before, and then he would take pictures of the place after, and then he'd have his sign on the property after, and then he'd go to all the neighbors, and then he'd tell the neighbors, hey, listen, I just did a job for your neighbor, and this is what it looked like before and after. So what he did instantly is he built rapport because he just did a job for the neighbor. So now he is someone in the neighborhood. He's not just a nobody. So for instance, how can we do that? I mean, we can't go and like, you know, seal someone's driveway, right? Or sell someone's house in a neighborhood we never sold before because maybe we don't know, you know, we don't have any business there. But if we do, then obviously that could be our rapport. But let's just say that we don't. Let's say we have no business in an area that we want to start doing business in. But guess what? Somebody just sold the house in that area. And more than likely, there probably has been an EXP agent who has either listed or sold a house in that area within the last 6 months. We can use that information to kind of break the ice and build a rapport. So one of the things that I recently did is I put a house under contract in a really nice neighborhood. And I thought to myself, hey, listen, I would love to do more business in that neighborhood. So why not create some flyers and send them out to all the neighbors, letting them know, hey neighbor, I just put this house under contract and it's located at 123 Main Street. If you'd like to know how much I put it under contract for, give me a shout. Or if you would be interested in knowing how much yours can go for sale for, give me a call. So using something that's already kind of like in their, how would I say, something of their interest, something that's close to them, is a very powerful thing. So what he did by building up the driveway business is exactly what we could do with the real estate business. And by the way, guys, he ended up getting 15 jobs just with that one driveway he did within 1 week. So it definitely works, and it's called building rapport. Building rapport doesn't have to be, hey, how you doing? Tell me about your kids, because how do you talk to them about their kids if you don't even know if they got kids, right? So we have to get creative and find a different way to build rapport when we're contacting somebody on the phone, door knocking, like I said, local events, farmers markets, like wherever you go. This is you're a walking business. We know that. So building instant rapport can be letting them know that, hey, listen, by the way, you own a house on 123 Main Street. Well, you know what? My company just actually listed a home in that area. And I'd love to show you what it got listed for and sold for or under contract for in just a matter of days. Is that something you'd be interested in learning? The person would be like, yeah, that's pretty interesting. How much did they get it for? I know the house. I know that guy. And his house is not as nice as mine. Like you're instantly getting rapport. And then you're leading into number two. Number two is getting them excited. Getting them excited could be, in most cases, has to be financially related, unless they have other motives, other motivations that are urging them to sell their property. So some people, they want to sell their house because maybe they have a sick family member who needs to be in a different uh, area for hospitals, or maybe the weather, or whatever the case may be. Or some people maybe just want to get out of the area because they got a new job opportunity, whatever the case is. Or some people just want to get the most amount of money for their house because they want to buy another house, a bigger house somewhere else, or maybe they're downsizing, whatever the case is. Finding out what really motivates them is what's going to get them excited. Because if I start talking to them about, the great things about selling your house in this environment and getting the most for your money, that might not be exactly what's motivating them. So while we're building rapport, we also want to ask the important questions. Why would you consider selling your property? Is that if you would be interested in selling, why would you consider selling? And the person might say, well, I just need a bigger house. Okay, so if you need a bigger house, is selling this one for the most amount of money something that you feel is important for you? Oh, absolutely. I need to get the most amount of money for this house because we got to use it as a down payment. Okay. Well, what if I told you that the last property we listed in this area sold for over asking price? It's crazy, right? And that's something like, what? Seriously? Like over asking? Like maybe that's what they'll say. Or maybe they're going to have their ear to the street and know like, well, yeah, well, every house is selling for over asking price. Yeah, but do you know why they're selling for so much more? The person might, well, it's a lack of inventory, right? Or is it just a lot of people coming in from New York? Yeah, it's a lot of those things. But did you know that listing the property on a certain day of the week can actually increase the amount of money you get for your house? What? How does that even make a difference? Did you know that we actually have 12 steps that we follow in order to get the most amount of money for your house besides just listing it at the right price? Oh, do you really? Okay. So get them excited, guys. Get them excited. And then you need to move into number three. Number three would be asking the right questions, right? So now that you know their motivations, there's other questions that you need to ask, because a good salesperson never tries to close someone. A good salesperson always allows the person to close themselves. Isn't that correct? Right? Who here wants to be sold? Nobody, right? Nobody on this call wants to be walk into a dealership and want the guy to say, what is it going to take for you to leave with a car today? Like how many times have you heard that? And you're like, oh my God, get me the hell out of here, right? But if the salesperson asks you the right questions when you walk into the dealership and asks you, what kind of budget are you working with? Okay, good. How many seats or how many people do you want to be able to fit in the car? Is having the safest car something that is important to you? Is it important for you to have 4-wheel drive? Okay, good. How much can you afford on a monthly basis? Okay. Do you need help with finding the right insurance company? Like all of these questions that you can ask, leading them into a decision-making process is very important. So for instance, if I'm getting someone on a phone call and I'm done getting them excited, they're excited. Now I need to ask a few questions leading into getting myself the appointment and leading into all my next steps. I'm going to be asking them, what kind of a timeline are you on? Is it important for you to sell it before the summer's over? Do you have children that need to attend a certain school by a certain time? What are the things that make them want to sell now versus later? Like, you got to ask these questions. That way, when you're asking these questions, they're basically telling you, okay, so if I told them what's the right timeline for you, well, I'd like to get it sold as soon as possible. Okay, well, absolutely. That's definitely something I can help you with. Now, I will tell you this much. I am working with, I work with a limited amount of sellers at one point. I don't like to take on too many people because I believe that giving people the right amount of attention and service is very important. Would you agree? Oh, absolutely. So, to be honest with you, I just sold a listing, which opens up for me a little more time to take on another seller. So, if you're willing to work with me and we can come to terms on how much you want to list your home with, I definitely would be willing to work with you. So what we did just there is letting the person know that there's scarcity. There is value that you're adding by working with me. So if you're working with me, I'm going to add value to you because I only take on a certain amount of clients because I want to give you tip top service. I want to give you the most out of every phone call, out of every interaction we have. I don't want to rush you off the phone. I want to have whatever amount of meetings we need to have until this home gets sold. I want to be there for you. So that is adding value. You can add value in different ways. You can tell people, look, I have I have an excellent photographer. I have an excellent drone person. I have an amazing stager. I have the best attorney. I have the best home inspector that we can get out here to inspect your home now before it goes on the market, just the way we make sure that we don't get any surprises later on. You know, listen, what I do before I list any of my clients' homes is I go through a checklist of pre-listing requirements. One of those is to check to see if you have any open permits. Do you know if you have any open permits? Well, I can't recall. I've owned this house for 20 years. I'm pretty sure. Oh, you know what? Yeah, we did change the roof and we did change the hot water heater about 5 years ago. And yeah, but we closed out the permits. Okay. Well, do you know that I've had many clients in the past who thought they closed out their permits and the city never closed them out. You might have had the final inspection, but guess what happens? The inspector goes back to the office, they put your paperwork on their desk, and for some reason that paperwork gets lost in the shuffle, and it turns out that it was never recorded as being closed out. Now we're going to go to sell your home, and we're going to find out at the 11th hour that you have open permits, and now we're going to get the inspectors back out here. It's going to cause delays, and everyone's going to be upset. So that's one of the things I do. Also, has your home ever been heated by oil? No, it's always been gas, and oil a long time ago, but that was many, many owners ago. Well, chances are there might be a oil tank underground. We can check to see if it was ever removed and see if there's any permits that are open. We can order an Oprah request to find out all that information. By the way, are you familiar with an Oprah? Um, no. What is an Oprah? Is that lady on TV? They're probably gonna say. So like all of these things that you're educating them with and giving them information on, like this is stuff that you're adding value because nobody else talks about these things. And if you can get them to see that there's so much value in working with you, there will be really no competition. But we have to follow these steps, guys. I mean, you don't listen. You don't have to badger them for too long on any one step. You can kind of make this a flow, and you got to perfect your flow. That's why we're going to do a little role play today. And then you want to right before you close, you want to leave a little bit of mystery. What do I mean by mystery? Is why do you think that movie trailers always kind of leave you like on the edge of your seat? They give you like, I don't know, 60% of what you're going to see. And they leave a little mystery because they want you to buy the movie ticket. They want you to go ahead and spend your money so you can go and sit in a movie theater for 2 hours, 3 hours sometimes, and find out how the movie ends. When a lot of times you can probably just watch 2 or 3 movie trailers and probably just get the gist of the majority of what is going to happen. And the good guy's going to win, the bad guy's going to lose, and it ends like every other story. But for some reason, we're always intrigued enough to go and pay money to watch these movies. So the same thing applies to our presentation. When we talk to someone, you want to give them just enough to get them excited. You want to give them enough to get their interest and get their intrigue up. but you don't want to give them everything, because if you give them everything, you're almost setting yourself up for them to do it on their own, or you're almost giving up all your secret sauce. You don't want to give everybody exactly how you do things. You just want to let them know um, your previous success stories, or you want to let them know maybe a few tidbits of what you plan on doing, because giving them everything basically will overwhelm them. Number one, you don't want to bore them and overwhelm them, but number two, a lot of times you just gave it up. You don't, there's no reason for them to even work with you anymore. They can basically just take notes and go sell it themselves, or go to the next agent or their cousin who just got their license and say, look, this agent just told me everything we need to do to sell our house. Let's just follow this strategy because it seems like they're doing a pretty good job. So build some mystery. The way we could do that is like what I spoke to you guys about earlier. So I have a proven 12-step listening approach to get the most for your home. I've only covered about 3 of them with you. I'd like to go over with the other 8. I'd like to go over the other 9 with you later on this week. I do have some availability on Saturday between 12 to 4. Those hours work for you. The person might say, you know what, can you just email me that? Well, unfortunately, that's not the way I operate. I'm emailing it to you. Let's be honest. You're probably going to get too busy. You're not going to look at it. And plus, I need to explain to you in person how this actually works, because reading it on paper is not going to jump out at you, and it's not going to excite you. I need to see you so you can see exactly what it is that I'm going to do for you. And while I'm out there, I can give you a more accurate assessment of what your home can sell for. But I will say this much: I can only stay for 30 minutes on Saturday because I have a slam-packed weekend. So I will be in and out. So don't worry, I won't take up too much of your time, because weekends are my busy time. So is that okay for you? Absolutely. You know what? You just made it seem like you're busy. You gave them mystery, and at the same time, you soft closed them into a close where they can close themselves, because you pitched it, and now you need them to hit it. You just threw them the ball. Now they need to hit it out the park. So when they agree to a time, because literally you just box them into a corner where they have no option but to give you a time, and you're not taking no for an answer because they said email it to me, and you say, well, listen, it's not the way I work. And they have to respect that, because they have a job. I'm sure they do something. Maybe they're entrepreneurs, or maybe they're 9 to 5 people, but they all have a way in which they do their job. So when someone tries to tell you how to do your job, why should you just agree and lay down? There's no reason for you to have to go that route. You can easily just turn around and say, well, that's not the way I work, but I do appreciate the fact that you are busy. So am I. This weekend is actually pretty intense for me. I actually have to book a bunch of showings for some of my clients, but I can only stay for about 30 minutes. And I guarantee within those 30 minutes, you're going to learn exactly why it's important to work with a person like myself. And at the same time, I can give you an accurate assessment of how much your home is worth, because I'll get to see it myself, and I will give you some suggestions on how to make it even show better. So what works for you between 12 to 4? What time is best? And guys, don't be scared to ask again. You're not being pushy. If you ask for a second time and they still tell you that they don't want to meet, or whatever the case is, they're just not ready yet. They're not serious. You can try them again in a couple of weeks, or whatever the case may be, because people go through phases. And let me ask you guys this, and you guys can just shout it out. If I asked you guys, to go and, let's say, go to a picnic. If I asked you on 5 different occasions during the last 30 days, do you think within the last 30 days you were in the same mood every single day? And if I caught you on any one of those days, your answer would have always been yes, let's go to a picnic. Probably one of those days you probably were upset about something. One of those days you might have been sick. One of those days you might have just gotten like the worst news in the world. And maybe a few of those days you were in a really great mood. And a few of those days you just like had like the most amazing day. Maybe you just heard the most amazing uplifting story, a podcast, whatever the case may be. And maybe I caught you on the wrong day when I asked you to go and hang out at a picnic, right? So how many of you guys had the same day for the last 30 days? Anyone on this call?
No, definitely not.
Definitely not the same,
No.
right? So why should we take the first no as the last no? The first no just means no today. That's all it means. It just means no today. Majority of the sales I've ever made on the phone, guys, have not been on the first call. They've been on follow-ups. They've been on the sixth time. They've been on a 12th call. I worked on someone for over a year. You know, it just goes to show you guys that a lot of people will stop at that first no because they think it's no forever. It's not no forever. I've called, sometimes I feel the people I call are bipolar because I've called people one day and they're super nice. They're so nice. And they're like, no, you know what? I can't do it that day, but you know what? Give me a call later on and then we'll set up a different time. Okay, no problem. Give them a call later on. And they turn into the Grinch. I'm like, what just happened here? So if you got a nice person on the phone the first time and you got the Grinch the second time, it doesn't mean they're going to be the Grinch the third time or the fourth time. It just means they're not having the same hour, they're not having the same minute, they're not having the same day. You know, you just got to continuously follow up. And sooner or later, believe me, either they're going to tell you that, look, I didn't know how to tell you this earlier, but I'm never going to sell my house. You know, I just wanted to be nice and, you know, not blow you off the phone. Or they're going to tell you, you know what, I'm sorry for the way that I spoke to you last time. I was just having a rough day. And if somebody is having a rough day and they come to you with aggression, maybe you take off your realtor hat and you put on your human hat and you say, hey, John, listen, man, I'm sorry. Let me just stop talking about real estate for 1 second. Are you having, you know, how's your day going? I mean, it sounds like maybe you're going through something. Are you okay? You know, and they might be like, you know what, you're the only person who's even cared to ask. And maybe you build some rapport on that call instead of maybe going and saying, you know what, well, if this weekend doesn't work for you, how about next weekend? You know, like it really doesn't do you any benefit to always have the same hat. We got to be versatile. We got to have more than one tool in our belt, because not everything is going to be a nail and we can't always be a hammer. We have to be different kinds of people in different times because we are human beings, and working with humans, the human business, you have to adapt to what the environment is throwing at you. Tammy is a hairdresser, and when she was taking on client after client after client after client, she had to shift her personality for that client, for that mood that that client was in at that particular time on that particular day. She saw 10, 20 people a day. That's 10, 20 different moods that she had to kind of adapt to on a weekly basis. That's hundreds of people. And unknowingly, she's become almost like a therapist, almost like a person that knows how to read human nature, because you've seen personalities in and out so much. I'm not sure if you guys have ever been in similar businesses where you had to deal with person after person after person, and they weren't always in the same mood. You can have the same person 4 times in a month, and in those 4 days, and those 4 times you see them, one day they're sad, one day they're happy, and it just goes to show you that within any industry that deals with people, you're gonna get different moods on different days. Tammy, is that correct? Did you become a quasi therapist at times?
Yes, I always say the beauty industry prepared me for the real estate industry, because I'm still a therapist with my clients with real estate. So
Yeah.
you are absolutely correct.
Yeah, it doesn't change. There's no difference at all. So that I hope gives you guys some encouragement, and I've given you some background on this now. And number 6 is the close. Listen, guys, the best thing you could do for yourselves is this: pick up a book. It doesn't matter who wrote it. There's so many books on closing. One of the best ones ever is a book by Zig Ziglar. He's one of the all-time famous closers, and there's 100 ways to close. But guess what? You don't need 100 ways. You just need 3. You need maybe 1. You just perfect a close before you try to perfect all the closes. You don't even have to buy the book. You can probably just go and do some research on Google. Maybe you can go and download an ebook and listen to it in the car, or you just go to YouTube and find out what are the best closes for real estate. Like, you could just literally, if you want something, it's out there. It's never been easier in the history of human beings to learn something that is going to make you $1 million. Learning how to close will not only make you a better salesperson and increase your revenue, but it's also going to help you become a better parent, become a better spouse, and become a better individual altogether, because closing is not always about getting what you want. It's about helping people make decisions. And a lot of times people don't know that that's what you're doing. You're helping them make a beneficial decision that's not only going to help you, but it's also going to help them. Who here has ever dealt with maybe a rambunctious teenager, a child, or maybe an argument with a spouse or a loved one, and you know that they're not thinking rationally, and you're like, my God, why are you saying these things? Like, maybe you should just calm down and look at things this way. But you're not closing them. All you're doing is matching their energy. And matching people's energy sometimes is the worst thing you could do. It's great when someone comes to you with positivity and like, oh my God, I love you. You're the best. And you're like, oh my God, no, you're the best. And obviously, that's a good situation. But what if somebody comes to you and says, you know what? Uh, I don't appreciate you and the way you speak to me. You're always so arrogant. And then if you try to match that energy, is anyone going to win in that situation? Absolutely not. So learning how to close will help you in all your situations in life, and not just in business. Closing someone who's in a bad state of mind is, think of it as kind of like a chess game. You got to move 2 steps ahead in order to be able to diffuse that person or change the situation, change the direction of that conversation for you guys to get to a mutually beneficial area. All right. So I think that I've spoken a lot already about our 6-step approach here. What I'd like to do now is kind of like, let's put some of this stuff to work. Does somebody want to volunteer with me? And I'll give you a quick maybe presentation of how I would do it, and then I'll let you guys kind of come in and we do some role play with you as well. Can one of you ladies volunteer for me and just be my seller, and I'll give you I'll go through the 6 steps with you.
Yes, I'll definitely volunteer. I need a lot of practice.
Okay, Tabby. So you just be my seller. I called you on the
Okay.
Maybe you're someone that I've spoken to in the past, or maybe you're someone that I just contacted the first time. It doesn't really matter because the principles are pretty much all the same. If you never tried these 6 steps before and you have someone that you've spoken to that you kind of had on the fence, well, try it again this time around with this 6-step approach that we have here on the screen, okay? So just go ahead and answer the phone. Ring, ring. Ring, ring. Answer my call. Say hello, Tabby. Are you still there?
I'm speaking, but I didn't press the button. My bad. Hello, this is Tabby.
Hey, Tabby, how's it going? This is Louis. How are you?
Hey, it's going all right. Busy as usual.
Oh, good, good, good. Hey, listen, I know it's been a couple of weeks since we spoke last, and I just wanted to let you know, I just had the opportunity to preview a home down the street from you that one of my colleagues from my office just listed. Are you aware of the property on 123 Main Street that just went on the market?
Yeah, I think that's right around the corner for me.
Absolutely. Do you know the neighbors by any chance?
I can't remember. My husband keeps more in touch with the neighbors than I do.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, well, they're the young couple with the golden retriever, and they have the 2-year-old that they always have drive around in a little bassinet. I'm not sure if you've ever seen them. Well, great people, absolutely amazing people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I had the
Nice. Yeah, I think I have.
Oh, good, good. I had the opportunity to meet with them this weekend, and their house is, to be honest with you, if I could, this stays between you and me. Their house is really not as big or as nice as your home, and you'll fall out of your chair if I tell you how much they got for it.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I want to know.
Oh, listen, they listed the house for 400,000, and they had 20 offers in the first weekend, and they went under contract for 450. How crazy is that?
Well, I think that's kind of like what's going on right now. I've been hearing like some friends talk about it because, a lot of people have been moving out of the neighborhood with new people moving in. They're trying to get top dollars. So I have been hearing about the over asking.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that being said, I know when we spoke last time, you you really didn't have a set number in mind yet, but with all this information that you have now that you're getting from your friends and what I'm telling you right now, what do you think your home is worth in this market? What would you consider a good value for your home?
Well, I'm not the expert, but just based on what you shared with me and based on what I'm seeing, I would say mine's probably like around 450.
So you think that you can get 450? Okay. And is that the number one motivator for you, is if you got the right price, or is there something else that you kind of need besides, just the right price? Is there like a timeline that you need to follow? Is there a certain, other issue that you have that maybe
Well,
take care of?
definitely. Yeah, no, there's a few things because let's say I was trying to move now, right?
Yeah.
It gives only a very short amount of time for the kids to get in school before session starts again, number one. And that would put a lot of stress because obviously I would be looking for the right house. So it just seems like too many moving parts and it'd be really stressful.
Mhm.
And I don't even know that I really want to sell. I know I'm interested in learning more, but I don't know that I'm ready. I'm honestly scared.
Okay. Now, since the kids are going to be starting school in less than 60 days now, which is crazy how time flies, it's unreal. If kids are going to start
Exactly.
school in
Yeah.
less than 60 days, is there a certain school district that you wanted to have them in, or are you keeping them in the same school?
Definitely would want to keep them in the same school. So, it would be just to get some more space and maybe new board plan, new kind of like a new fresh start. But, unfortunately, I can't go too far because of the kids.
Okay. All right. So what you're saying is if we find you a better home in the area, obviously where you are now, because you're going to the same school district, and we can get your home sold at the same time within 60 days and get you 450 or more, that would probably be what you're looking for ideally. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. And the part that worries me the most is the finding the house and, closing on time and everything, like working like so perfectly. It seems like it's too small of a window, the time crunch and everything.
No, I definitely understand. Well, listen, I'll tell you this much right now. Never ever in the history of real estate, or from the time I've been in this business, which is almost 20 years now, have I ever seen the amount of cash buyers that I'm seeing now. And not only cash
Mhm.
buyers, but we're also seeing a ton of pre-approved buyers. Do you know what that means by pre-approved?
No, what does that mean exactly?
Pre-approved basically means that the buyers are literally getting underwritten completely before even making an offer on your home, which basically means the only thing that's left for them to do is provide a property to be appraised, which can coincide with the time frame in which the title is being run. So what that means is that the closings now can take as little as 2 to 4 weeks if we have the right cash buyer or we have the right pre-approved buyer, which
Mhm.
then gives you ultimately an additional 30 days for you to really kind of have that buffer before the kids get into school. So I
We're cutting
personally,
it close. We're cutting it close.
cutting it close, but I
Yeah.
personally think that we're not going to have an issue getting your house sold at all. And I think we're going to sell your home. I know, put it this way, I know we're going to get 450 or better because, like I told you, I just saw the Joneses house down the street and it's
Mhm.
nothing compared to yours. But I will say this much. I think that the number one thing for you, from what I'm hearing, is we need to find you the right home. So if we found you the right home in this area, would that be the motivator that you need in order to get this one? So,
Well, I don't really know how that works because I have talked to some people about it, some friends, because I am a little curious, but I get a little confused with the whole, like, with the market being, more about sellers. Does that mean that I'm gonna, like, how am I gonna look for a house without selling this one?
yeah, great question because a lot of people don't realize this, right? So, yes, we're definitely in a seller's market right now, which means that you're going to sell for top dollar, but you're also going to be
Mhm.
buying someone else's home for top dollar. And then that may sound like, oh, but you know what? Maybe I should just sell it and then go to rent, or maybe I should just sell it and not buy anything, move in with my parents. A lot of people think that way, but I'll be 100% honest with you. The same thing happens when the market changes to a buyer's market. So during a buyer's market, you're not going to get as much for your home, but then you're going to get a
Mhm.
cheaper home. So it's all relevant. It's all relevant. There is
Mhm.
no perfect time to sell. There is no perfect time to move. It's all relevant upon your needs. So for instance, right now, if you
Mhm.
buy, you're going to buy a little more expensive than you would a couple years ago. But the case is you're also going to get a lot more for your home. So it's an equal exchange. Does that make sense to you?
Hopefully more than equal, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Because if you're okay with buying a little bit of a fixer upper, then you could add some value into the property you're buying,
Uh,
which is always a good thing.
okay, okay.
Yeah. So let me just let you know this much. Now, in order to get your home sold within 60 days and for that amount of money, you can't just slap it up on the internet and hopefully keep your fingers crossed that everything gets done. There's actually a formula for this, and we have dedicated team that helps us with this, and I have created a 12-step approach to making sure that we get all of those things taken care of in order for you to meet your timeline. Now, I'd love to share that with you. I can obviously give you a couple of those tidbits now over the phone, but the remaining ones, I really need to see you in person, because I need to see exactly what your home looks like in order to give you the proper assessment of how long it's going to take to sell, what things you may do before it gets on the market. And some of the things are very confidential that I want to share with you in person, because they're kind of personal to each person's situation. It's not going to be the same for everyone. So this weekend, I do have a slot open between 12 to 4 on Saturday. And I want to give you the first opportunity, obviously, to let me know what time works for you, because around you, I will have to schedule some showings for other clients. So I have about maybe a 30-minute window, anyone within that time frame. Is that okay for you between that 12 to 4?
I feel like if I set the appointment with you, that means things are gonna get in motion and I'm pulling the trigger.
Oh, you know what? Absolutely. That's not the case. I'm just going to give you some information. And once you are ready and your timeline still remains the same, at least I know that I'll be working with you, because I only take on a certain amount of clients at one time. So I'll give you the information, you look it over, and you let me know within the next 14 days, whatever the case is, if it still works for you, that you want to get it done now in this time period.
Mhm.
And I will make sure not to take on any additional clients for listings, because I want to make sure that I service you 100%. I want to make sure that I don't overwhelm myself when I'm giving my clients my service. Listen, I want to make sure I have time for you. So let me just come over on Saturday, and I'll give you that information. And once you see what you want to do, then you'll let me
Mhm.
know. The ball will be in your court. Sound good?
Okay, yes, let's try it out.
All right, great, awesome. So I'll see you then. Take care, and
Okay, great.
yeah, I'll bring you some coffee. Sounds good.
Okay, thank you so much, Liz.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right, you too.
People. All right, guys. So I'm not sure if you
Bye.
noticed, but I went through all the 6 steps here. I created the rapport with the neighbors. I got them excited about the price. I asked her the right questions. I added value by telling them, how I have a dedicated system and I have a team that helps me with these things. I left some mystery because I told her about some of the things we do, but I didn't tell her about all the things we do. And then I asked for the appointment, and I let her know that, listen, I have limited time, so my time is just as valuable as yours. And we got the appointment. Now, obviously, it doesn't always work out this way. Tabby is not always going to give me the appointment. I'm not always going to get a yes, but at least I know if I go through my 6 steps, I'm not leaving anything on the table. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
Yes, so a much better plan than what I was using.
Let's reverse the roles now, Tabby. Let's try with you. Let's see if you can go ahead and just give me a call, and I will obviously be the seller. I'll give you some.
Okay, one sec. Okay, all right. Ring, ring.
Hello. Hello.
Hi, Lewis.
Yeah. How you doing?
Hi, Lewis.
Yeah. Who's this? Hello. Can you hear me?
She muted
Yeah.
herself.
Okay, there it is. Sorry about that.
No
Hi,
problem.
Lewis. It's Tabby. How's it going today?
Amazing. Thank you. Hey, Tabby. I remember you. I think we spoke. Was it like last month?
Yeah. No, I'm definitely wanting to keep in touch and see how everything's going with you. How's your summer been going and all that?
Pretty good. Yeah, I know that last time I was supposed to get back to you after I spoke to the wife, and her and I are both on the same page about, we're kind of up in the air right now about what we want to do next. We're a little uncertain about like where to go and how much we'd end up paying if we did
Oh, okay.
find something new. So yeah.
Oh man, then it sounds like I had perfect timing because that's exactly what I wanted to talk to you about. I wanted to ask you, find out more about what's important to you, and what's, exactly if you have a timeline or if there's something in particular that you're concerned with. I definitely want to be here to answer those questions. So can you tell me kind of exactly what was on your mind? You said you had a few things you wanted to find out about. How can I help you answer those right now?
Mm. Well, I don't really have any particular questions right now. So what I would like for you to do, Tabby, is try to go down the list in order. I don't know if you can still see my screen, but
Yeah, I'm looking. So I have it have a picture of it in front of me. So what I was
okay.
trying to do was create instant rapport, which
Uh,
is by finding out what's important to you. because then I'm creating, I think, when you're interested in people, you then become more interesting, and that's part of creating rapport, right?
Listen, however you want to do it, you do it. I'm sorry. I thought you might have missed the one step. Okay, good. So that's your way of building rapport. Well, Tabby, to
Uh,
be
Thank you. No, thank you for checking. That's
no,
what
no,
I'm trying to do. Tell me if I'm doing it.
hey, listen, if that's your way of building rapport, and you want to do it that way, it's all up to you. You guys make this your own. Okay, well, Tabby, well, I want to let you know that the most important thing for us is literally finding the right home, because I love this home, but I know that we've outgrown it, and it's hard for us to part ways with this property. It just have a lot of emotional attachment here, but I know that this home is no longer going to suit us, and we need to find the next right home. And that's the scariest part, is finding something that we're not going to regret later.
Okay, great. I can definitely help you with that. And finding the right home, are you trying to, find a bigger home, or you trying to downsize? Like, what is it exactly that would make the right home for you?
We need a bigger home because we're expecting twins, and this is a 3 bedroom, and obviously we need a guest room as well because we always have the in-laws coming over. So yeah, I think we're gonna need a 4 bedroom.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. So you are a growing, bustling family, and you need room for that family and for also in-laws to come visit. I hear you loud and clear. So the good thing is that, right now it is a seller's market, as you might have heard from other people or checked out for yourself. But that means that the ball is in your court because you have a home to sell, right? So what we can do is find out exactly what your home is worth. You can decide on that price, but basically, since the ball's in your court, you are going to be able to sell your home and then be able to upgrade with the money that you're going to be making off of your home. Because of course, right now it's going to be selling, most likely for over asking if we price it right and do all of the 12-step process that I have for you.
Okay, so what you're basically saying is that this is not going to be an easy transition to do, and
I mean, I wouldn't say that it is or isn't easy. I would say that it's going to take a little bit of effort, but that's what I'm here for, is to make sure that you're guided and that everything goes as smoothly as possible. So now that I have asked you, the right questions, in that I'm finding out what's important to you. I know that you need a bigger home. I know that your family's growing. Right now, do you have any other concerns, or kids in school, anything else that I should be aware of in finding your next home, or is it pretty much just the size?
yeah, it's really just finding the right property for us. It doesn't matter, um, you know, about the kids
Timeline,
being in
anything
school.
like that?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter for the schools, because we're staying in the same area, so the school they're not going to be changing schools. I just want to make sure that we just find the right home. I mean, you see, we're picky when it comes to it, because we want our next home to not be our next 5-year home. We want it kind of to be our forever home. So that's why
Okay.
we've kind of been dragging our feet and just looking around. But it's so hard to get a property nowadays that it almost feels like it's pointless.
Oh, you know what? I can say from personal experience, it is possible. I recently just bought a home myself, and I've helped a lot of people buy homes in this market. So, it is definitely possible. And now that I'm finding more about exactly what you want, I can definitely help you with that by, putting you on an alert. And that way, every day, pretty much, you're going to be receiving homes that are in your area, in your price range, and what you're looking for. And then we can work together on finding exactly what you do and don't like. And I can find out the things that you are a little picky about. And that's perfectly good. I mean, it's good that I know this so I can really cater to you. So what I'd like to do is come over this Saturday. Now that I know exactly what's important to you, what you want, I'm going to go over and talk to you and your wife about it. And that way we can show you some homes, also show you the value for your home. And I can go over some more steps that I have to make sure that your home sells for as much as possible and as quickly as possible with the least amount of stress. So Saturday from 12 to 4, I have some time open. I do have some other showings. Do you think you can do 12:30, and I'll only be there for about 30 minutes to inform you guys?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't know if we're really at that point right now where we're going to make a decision. So I don't want to waste your time. Why don't you just go ahead and
Mhm.
send us the email with the properties and your presentation for how you would get the property sold.
Okay. The thing about it is I don't work that way. I like to work in person. I definitely want to take a look at your house as well. I'm going to do my due diligence on my end and do research to see what the pricing is, but I also want to take a look at it. And I know you're not quite ready to pull the trigger just yet, but it's more about being informed. So that way, if you decide that you do want to sometime soon, let's say something happens and you change your mind, at least you have all the information at your fingertips, and I can leave some of that valuable information with you for you to review as well and mull over. And then when the time comes, I'd be happy to help service you.
Okay. Well, listen, I'll talk to the wife, and I think that this weekend, 12 to 4, probably the best time would probably be around, let's say 1 o'clock. We should probably be home by then. So, yeah,
Okay, great.
pencil me in for 1 o'clock. If anything changes, then I'll call you and let you know.
Okay, great. I look forward to it. I will have some coffee for you guys. I appreciate your time today, and you guys have a good week.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you so much. All right.
Okay, thank you. Talk to you then. Bye
Sure.
now.
Ladies, so Tammy, Belinda, if you can you give some feedback to what you feel was good about Tabby's role play here and what you think she can improve on? Guys, and don't worry about being honest. We're here to learn. We're not here to make each other puff each other up. So if there's something that you think she can improve on, please let her know. Because I have 2 things I'm going to suggest, but I'm going to leave mine for last.
Okay, can I go?
Yeah.
And this is something that I noticed that I do, and you said it about 2 weeks ago, which is finishing other people's sentences.
Correct.
And when she did it, I picked up, I said, even that little comment of, yeah, we think that we're staying engaged in a conversation, but I didn't, when she did it, and I realized it's something that I do too, that wasn't being engaged in a conversation. That was actually starting to cut them off and starting to speak for them, even though it was a quick interjection of, yes, I acknowledge what you're saying.
Did you pick up on that?
What part? Thank you so much. I'm sorry. Okay, so thank you, Belinda. Where was it that I said that? Because I'm trying to remember what, like where I said it, so I could try to not do that.
It's just the way a dialogue goes. Like a lot of times we just say, yeah, okay. And while the person is trying to explain something, we kind of interject in between, just trying to acknowledge that we're paying attention. But sometimes we end up saying, finishing off their sentences, and then they come back and agree.
Okay. So basically, just be more quiet while they're talking and really try to listen instead of saying agreeing like words.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
perfect.
I'm guilty of that too. So when
No,
you did it, I picked up on it.
I'm one of the, yeah, I'm very bad at that. So it makes a lot of sense that that's the first one you notice. Thank you.
Yeah, Tabby, listen, I've been doing this way too long. And after I gave that training, that mastermind a couple of weeks back, I had an interview that day, right after I got done with you guys. And I took my own advice and I just shut the hell up and I just let them talk so they can finish what they're saying. And all I did was then acknowledge them and repeat back to them what they just said after they said it, if I want to be engaged in the conversation. And I looked at that interview versus some of my older interviews that I did with other people. And I was constantly on my older videos like, okay, okay, and I'm like, what? Oh my God. It's almost kind of like the blindfold was taken off of me that day. And I was like, I can't believe I've been doing this for years. I wonder what the person on the other end thinks. But my conversation was so much more interesting when I wasn't trying to finish the person's sentence and I wasn't urging them on to finish what they were saying. So definitely one of the things I picked up on. Good pickup, Belinda, on that. That was an amazing call. Is there anything else that you would want to add, or does Tammy have something?
I was a little distracted. I have noise in my background, so I couldn't
Okay.
really get a full
No
answer.
problem. Yeah, thank you for at least acknowledging that. So yeah, I think that that was one of the main components that I picked up on. So it wasn't so much of when did you do it, it was more of the fact that you were uncomfortable, so you didn't want any dead silence. You didn't want any quiet time.
You're right about that. Oh, I'm so uncomfortable. It's so weird because I've been on the phone forever with collections, but they owed me something. So I felt okay asking for something that they owed me.
Yeah.
I am not obviously asking for things that people don't owe me.
Okay.
You know, because before you could kind of like, I don't know, you have like rights to it in a way. Now I just feel like, yeah, you feel like you're bugging them in a way. But I know that I need to work on the confidence part. It was really hard door knocking last week for the first time. It was really freaking hard, but I think you're just jamming it in practice. I have to just keep doing it. So I told myself I'm going to do it 3 times this week, but now you're making me question with the weather. Is it going to rain?
Listen, Diego and I, one of my agents, we started off
Mhm.
door knocking, and we were like freezing. It was like in January or something. We went to like 3 houses,
Mhm.
and we looked at each other. I'm like, bro, it's cold. Let's just go back to the office and make phone calls, man. This is crazy. So we just
Mhm.
pounded the phones the whole winter, and we did
Mhm.
so much more business. So if you can't
Yeah.
door knock because of the weather, just pick up the phone and make phone calls. And if you don't have any numbers to call, just call the people in your phone book. Call the people in your phone. That's it. Call them. You never know who they know who might be buying or selling. Just call.
Mhm.
You know, that's it. Yeah. So that was one of the things that I picked up on. I believe there was something else that I picked up on that I wanted to talk to you about. Let me see if I could remember. It was definitely that, and let me see. I can't recall right now, but I will tell you this much: you did a you have a good tone. I like your tone. You definitely have
Mhm.
the right tone. You just need to just be a little bit more patient with the conversation and not so urgent to get it over and done with, because it sounded kind of like you wanted there to be no silence, so you wanted to command the conversation. And
Mhm.
the only thing I would say is, if you want to acknowledge what they're saying and you want to be in an active conversation, like you said, be interested, not interesting. You want to be interested of what I said. So what you do is, I just told you, well, listen, my wife and I are concerned that we're not going to be able to find the right home for us, because we love this home so much that we're scared that our next home, we just don't want to buy just any property, because it's going to be our forever home. And then you let me literally finish, let there be a little space, not so much where it's awkward, where the person's gonna be like, hello, are you there? Are you still there? You just kind of you let them really finish their statement. And then what you do
Mhm.
is you say, so what you're telling me, or so what I'm hearing. So those are
Mhm.
acknowledgement terms, right? So what I'm hearing is that you want to make sure that the next property you buy is a special property. Is that correct? They're like, yeah, absolutely. So then it makes the person feel like, okay, you literally are paying attention. Like, you are keeping it almost mentally. I feel like you're there with a pen and pad writing this down, because you're reiterating
Mhm.
everything I just said. So that makes for a great conversationalist. That makes for a great closer, because you're not commanding the conversation. You're an active
Mhm.
participant, and you're letting them kind of feel like they're in charge. Because when they feel they're in charge, they feel empowered. They want to work with you. When they feel that you're commanding the conversation and you're forcing them to do something that they're not willing to do, it's not going to end well. So we want to be experts at these little things to make sure that we get the results we want. But great job. I like your approach, and I like the energy in your voice. So that was good. We just got to learn to calm yourself down a little bit and kind of let the conversation flow.
Thank you. You have that really calming tone. I think I have a kind of harsh tone, so I'm trying really hard over the phone to make it softer. And a critique on myself that I noticed, just like how you said I didn't say anything or I said it in a weird way about the house. You also mentioned having twins, so that's something that I should have stopped and been like, congratulations, because that's a big deal.
Yeah.
So there you go, too. I just noticed that.
Yeah, twins for sure, man. You could have made a joke about that. You're like, oof, yeah,
Yeah.
for the next 6
But
months.
it's because I was nervous. Yeah. If I was myself, like if it was just one of my friends, like I'm a big, I have a lot of fun and I'm really natural. But yeah, in these situations, I become nervous. Also, I think maybe one of the things that you brought up too was about having, like, did you feel like maybe I didn't do it in order, the 6 steps?
You didn't do it in order, but number one is always very important is the building that rapport. And then number two is getting them excited because you want to make sure those two things are taken care of right away because you have to grasp someone's attention immediately because either it's going to be one or two things. Either they want to know more or they want you off the phone. It's one of the two. So it's just like in anything else. People have a short attention spans. So build the rapport and get them excited as soon as you possibly can.
Okay, so asking questions was not the way to build the rapport.
I think asking them questions right away was kind of like intrusive. I felt that just a little bit because
Okay.
you haven't really even warmed me up yet. You know, you kind of just went for the kill. In my opinion, I just felt that way. If it works for you,
Okay.
listen. If it
No, because
it works for you.
no, yeah, I don't think it works because I haven't really been proven yet. So I want to ask you that specific question because
I-
you were caught off guard, and that's not good. So
What do you think?
I
What do you
actually
think,
had
Sam?
I actually have a script
Yeah.
from Yes Master somebody sent to me, and it pretty looked like it's in that order that you're
Wow.
of the 6 steps approach.
Wow.
nice.
That's crazy.
So I can email that to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I would love that, Tammy. That would be very great. Thank you.
It's a lot of scripts in there. It's called Yes Masters.
Okay, nice.
You can have scripts for door knocking.
Oh, okay, awesome. Yeah, I kind of just went out there not as prepared as I should be, but I definitely need some practice. So I would love that. Thank you.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was really good. Thank you so much for that, Tammy. I appreciate you helping us out with that as well.
I wish I could have did it real quick, but I don't know if we have time.
Go for it.
I have time if you guys do.
Okay, yeah, let's go for it. So, Tammy, can you be the buyer? I'm sorry, can you be the agent? And Belinda, can you be the seller?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, go for it, girls.
Ring, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Tammy Tanksley, and I'm with EXP Realty. I'm calling to give you a quick update on the real estate market in your area. And to let you know, there has been 5 homes that sold in the last 45 days, less than 30 days.
Sorry, not interested.
You're not interested? You're not interested?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was a recording.
Oh, okay. But did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yes, it's pretty exciting news, isn't it?
I guess what's the real purpose for this call?
And we know that when homes start selling like that, 2 or 3 more are very quickly to sell. So I was just wondering, when do you think you might be ready to make a move?
I'm sorry, do I know you from somewhere or was my number referred to you?
Do you know me from somewhere? No, you don't. Your
Okay.
name came up in my database because a home sold in your area.
Okay, I see. I see.
So, so when do you think you might be ready to make a move?
Well, I never pretty much thought about it.
Never? Great. How long have you lived there?
I've been here for 3 years.
Good for you. Where did you move from?
I moved from New Jersey.
Excellent. What brought you to this area?
Tammy, I'm sorry, I'm laughing because it sounds like a recording and I'm
Are you using the script or are you reading the script?
Yes.
okay.
Okay.
It's like you're keeping to the script and you're not listening to me, which makes me want to hang up.
I am listening to you.
Oh, okay.
I'm not a recording. I am listening to you.
Okay. All right. Okay.
You-
I'll take the car warranty person out of my head that recording that I get. Hi, this is Bill and I'm calling about your car warranty.
I'm an actual person. I'm asking you
Okay.
questions and and you're answering them. So I'm listening.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So I moved from Irvington, New Jersey, and now I'm down here in South Amboy. And for right now, I pretty much like the area.
Oh, you moved from Irvington, New Jersey. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what brought you to this area?
The fact that A lot of people around here don't have bars on their windows.
Oh, they don't have bars on their windows. Wonderful.
Yes.
If you were to move again, where do you think that would be next?
I'll probably like to go over to East Brunswick. I pretty much go over to the mall over there pretty often. I like the surrounding shops.
Oh, East Brunswick. That's East Brunswick is really nice. That's exciting. And how soon would you like to do that?
I haven't given it any thought, honestly.
Or you haven't given it any thought? Okay, it sounds like our next step would to set up a time to get together and to look at the best way to make all this happen for you. I think I kind of messed up because you said you didn't think about it. Let me see if there. But go ahead. We're gonna still act like we talking.
Okay. All right. I have a pretty full calendar because I do work from home and I also homeschool. So, how are your evenings?
What would be the best time for you to get together? Monday at 4:15 or Tuesday at 4:15 p.m.?
Evenings.
Yeah, Monday at 4:15 or Tuesday at 4:15.
I'm sorry. At the 4 o'clock area is still kind of part of the day for me because, like I said, I do work from home and I homeschool. So the evening hours work best for me after 5.
Okay, so Monday at 5:15 or Tuesday at 5:15 p.m.
Let's try Tuesday at 5:15.
Okay, perfect. I'll see you Tuesday at 5:15. Um, I gotta read more. So this is
Okay.
my first time reading
Um,
this.
all right. Is there anything that I should be prepared for? Anything that we're going to go over at this 5:15 meeting? Because I want to keep it on a time schedule because I will start to prepare dinner later. So,
I just basically wanted to see your home and go over what's sold in the areas and see and give you a market analysis of what you can get in this market for your home. If you,
okay, is there anything like that I can look up on a computer to get that information if I was thinking about selling my home?
well, it's definitely stuff on a computer, but I'm not sure if it's accurate. So, um, because based on your home, that's why it's important for me to see it so I can see your home particular, and then I can pretty much do a market analysis based off your home. So on a computer, you may look up a home that's sold, but it may have different features. It may be more upgraded. So, you know, you can't necessarily go off of just looking it up on a computer.
Okay, I will give you the courtesy of letting you have the time to come over. I am uncomfortable with the fact that I don't know you, and we have no other relationship besides I'm coming up on your database. It's a weird time, and I get spam calls like that all the time.
Oh, I truly understand that. And yes, I totally agree. But I can send you my business card to make you feel more comfortable to see
Uh,
so you can have a face
Business
and a name.
card, web address, Facebook. Let me be able to see who you are and what you're about.
All that
And then
on my
if I am uncomfortable, then I will call you back and cancel the appointment. How's that?
sounds fair. And all that's actually on my business card. You'll be able to, Google me on social media to see who I am.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Okay. All right. All right. So we have Tammy's take on it, and I will tell you right now that I have a few things that I can help improve on Tammy, but I want you girls to obviously help out Tammy just like she was able to give us insight on Tabitha's um,
Mhm.
attempt. So let's start with you first, Tabby. If you could give her your thoughts, your initial thoughts, and what she can do better and what you like from it.
It's interesting because I see the same thing in her as I see in me. Me and Tammy, all of us, we have these great personalities, but we get on the phone and we change into people who we're really not. So I just have the same feedback for her as I, would for me, which is that we gotta kind of more be ourselves, and just because you have like a great laugh, Tammy, you have a great laugh, a great vibe, you seem like a happy person to me. And again, I even know some of your personal stuff, and you seem like a strong, happy person to me, you know? So my only critique is just to see that more in your vibe on the phone, because I know that'll kill. You'll get mad sales like that, mad deals.
Mhm.
Thank you. And I kind of felt that because of the way I was reading. See, I just got this one, so so that's why practice make perfect, because I know I have to create it into my personality. So thank you for that.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep.
Belinda, what are your thoughts?
I felt that she was never interested in me. She kept to the script.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's why I started laughing, Tammy. Is because it's like this. I get the calls like that all the time of people reading from scripts,
And
and it
honestly,
bothers me.
you're supposed to stick to the script, but you got to add your personality, and you got to kind of repeat what they say. So I probably was falling back from repeating what you say to acknowledge that I am, but
Ye-
but you have but you got to master the script.
Well, right at the beginning, you said, "Hi, this is Tammy Tinsley from EXP Realty, and I'm calling about the market." You just went on, and the part where Lewis has number one, which is build a rapport. I don't feel we ever did that.
I felt like that's building rapport by telling you what's going on in your area.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, let me kind of interject in here. So, what I will tell you right now is that I know that I don't know everything. That's one thing I can assure you guys, is that I don't know everything. But what I do know is from what I've experienced. And what I've experienced is that personally, when making thousands upon thousands of prospecting calls, it works better when you treat the other person as your friend. When you treat the other person as a sales call, it doesn't end well. And I felt very much that Tammy was not being herself. Because if Tammy was being her normal self with her confidence, her positivity, and her energy, this conversation would have been much different. I feel that what a lot of us at times we fall prey to is the fact that we think that there is one magic pill, one magic formula, and one magic script that's going to convert our sales. And it's not so, and that's not the case. These scripts that we get from different sources, they're amazing tools for us to pick up certain things that work for us, not that we have to live off of that script. Because even though there are certain principles that they're teaching you about that do work, overusing any one principle is always going to make it feel not genuine, disingenuine, I guess the word I'm looking for. So when you first called and you introduced yourself as a salesperson, the conversation from that point on was over. It was done. I'm surprised she didn't hang up on you. So what I would have rather heard is how you call your friend. So if Belinda's your friend, you don't call and say, "Hi, this is Tammy Tanksley with eXp Realty, and I'm giving you a call to let you know about your local real estate market." You don't do that to a friend. You call a friend and you say, "Belinda?" And Belinda's gonna say, "Yes, who is this?" "Hey, Belinda, how you doing? This is Tammy over from eXp Realty. I hope I didn't catch you at a bad time, but I just wanted to let you know about the properties that just sold in your neighborhood. Are you aware that someone just sold a house just like yours for 50,000 more than asking price?" Like that would have been something that I think Belinda would have reacted to just a little bit differently. So when Belinda reacted to your initial introduction, she didn't even know if you're a real human being, because you were so to the script that
Yeah.
it felt like it was really cold and disingenuous, and everything that was going to come out of your mouth from that point on was going to be solely one-sided and scripted. But if you would have just kind of like said, "Hey, I was just driving down the neighborhood and I saw that you have such a beautiful home. Just actually took a listing down the street from your house, and I was wondering, would you ever consider selling yours? Because we have so many clients that we cannot help that made offers on that property." Something like that. Because then, Belinda, how would you have felt if I approached you, such as, if I'm sorry, if Tammy would have approached you with a phone call that said, instead of how she started, if I would have just called and said, "Hi, Belinda," what would you have said? Play it out with me.
Yeah.
Play it out with me for a second, Belinda. So, "Hi, Belinda."
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, Belinda. This is Tammy from eXp Realty. I hope I didn't catch you at a bad time, but I just needed to make you aware that your neighbor at 123 Main Street just sold their house for $50,000 over ask price. Now, I know this is a shot in the dark, and you're probably not even thinking about selling your home, but we have almost 50 families that were not able to buy that property. That's how many offers were left over after the seller accepted one. Would you ever consider selling your property?
Wow. That's interesting. I think I would, but my issue is if I sell mine, will you help me get into something else? Because we were pretty much thinking about expanding.
Okay. So how did you feel after I started the conversation with that, as opposed to the way that Tammy called you, where it felt very cold and almost like she made 1,000 of the same phone calls, as opposed to it being kind of like a unique phone call I made to only you?
The way how you posed it made me feel like I was needed.
Yes. Educated you, added value, built rapport, all in one, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So when you were saying things, Tammy kept repeating them to you, and she would skip right along to it. So, for instance, you were like, "Oh, I moved from Irvington, and now I live in such and such." Irvington, huh? Okay. So it just almost felt condescending at times when she kept repeating what you kept saying. So I know that I told you guys when I was helping out Tabby about letting people know that you acknowledge what they just said by repeating what they just said, but not literally verbatim repeating the words they just said. So, for instance, when there was a bunch of things you said that Tammy repeated right after you, but instead of just saying Irvington, Irvington, huh? Oh, okay, Irvington. It would have been like, it should have been like this. It should have been, oh my God, you used to live in Irvington? I know so many people from Irvington. I've actually helped so many families that live in that area. I'm really familiar with that part of New Jersey. That sounds more like this is not scripted. This is coming from your heart, and this is building rapport at the same time. So I think that yes, Tammy, you're onto something. Repeating what they say is important, but acknowledging what they say is even more important. And don't do it with everything they say, because then it starts to become like is this a natural conversation, or is this something you've been told to do? So you just have to be you, be Tammy. Talk to your client or the person on the phone that's your prospect. Talk to them in a marriage between your best friend and, I would say, a stranger you just met at the supermarket, somewhere in between there. You don't want to obviously be like, "Hey girl, what you doing this weekend?" Like, we're not doing that. But we're also not going to be doing what you just did right now. It has to be a happy medium where you have to be a respectful person because you don't know them. At the same time, be yourself, be confident. You can use the lines that are in the script. Absolutely, you can use some of those lines, but don't read off of a script ever, ever, ever when making a prospecting call, because that's going to make you feel even more nervous. And I can tell by the amount of ums that you said that it wasn't really coming from your heart and it wasn't coming from your mind. But once you've kind of practiced this so many times over and over and over again, and you just become an extension of Belinda's network. You become an extension of her circle, and you just be yourself when you call her, as opposed to being the salesperson. You're going to get a lot of warmer responses. So the phone call with you and her and Belinda could have just simply went, "Belinda, yes, Belinda, this is," and you repeat her name again. Say it as many times as you possibly want, because that's a good way of also building rapport. "Belinda, this is Tammy Tankson with eXp Realty. I hope I didn't catch you at a bad time, but I just have to let you know I drove by your house this week because I just took a listing, or someone from EXP just took a listing, and I visited the open house, and you would not believe the amount of offers that property had. Now, unfortunately, there's about 30 families who were not able to buy that home, and this is the reason I'm calling you, because right now it's such a hot time to sell, and there's such a shortage of housing supply. It compels me to give you a call and ask you, would you ever consider selling your property if we could get you the right price? That's kind of the way I want to. I want to hear you speak like that, because it comes off so much more genuine. It comes up personalized. It comes up like the fact that I said I drove by your house and I saw that it could be a great possibility for one of these families. It makes it seem like you're a real person. Like, you called that person out of like one of one instead of like one out of 15 for that hour. So try those little things. You'll come off so much better. You can practice the scripts because there's a lot of good questions that the script may come with and a lot of great closes that the script may come with, but make it Tammy's. Okay, so that's the assignment that I'm going to give you all for next week. Practice your pitches as much as you can this week with yourself in front of a camera with your loved ones, whoever, however you want to do it. Record yourself on your phone. There's no reason why you guys can't just pick up your phone and just hit record and then hear yourself. Count how many times you said
I felt it because this is the first time that I did this one. Like I have been making calls, but I've been doing expired. But I want to do circles for prospecting, and I always get good calls with expired because it kind of flows.
Yeah.
But this was literally my first time doing this one, so I felt everything that y'all saying.
Yeah, good. So you're picking up on it. I'm sure you weren't oblivious to it. If you can learn anything from this call today, Tammy, is just talk to them like if it was your friend and
Mhm.
call with asking them their name first. So if you're calling and the homeowner on your thing says Belinda, then you just call. If a lady answers, you say Belinda. If a man answers and if it's a lady's name on the listing, you would say,
Yeah.
"Hey, I'm sorry, I'm not sure if I have the right number, but would you happen to be the owner of 123 Main Street?" And if that person says, "Yes, that's me and my wife." "Oh, I'm sorry, sir. What is your name?" "Oh, my name is Roger." "Okay, Roger, thank you so much for taking my call. I hope I didn't catch you at a bad time. I just have to let you know," go into your spiel, whatever it is that you have to say to them, but just talk to them, breathe, maybe before you get on the calls, maybe do some breathing exercises, maybe sing a song, whatever, you go for a walk, get your mind right, and then just call as if you were calling your friend. Even you might even want to call your friend before you make these calls, just to kind of get in the right rhythm, get in the right mood, so that way you can make that call and it feels more natural and it feels like, okay, this is me. If you don't like me for me, then I don't want to work with you anyway. But I can't blame them for not wanting to work with that version of Tammy because that's not really Tammy.
that was that was the first time, but with the expired, I really do well.
Good,
with the
good, good.
expired because it do start off high. Is this Lewis? It start off like that.
Oh, good, good, great. So that you're gonna give us that one next week.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I
someone
feel
else.
expired, but this one is something that I want to start. So
Good.
I'm not gonna start.
Exactly. No,
So I'm glad I
very
practiced
brave of
you
you to
guys
use.
before I started.
That's what I was gonna say. Very brave of you to practice that in front of you, because again, you don't need help with the stuff you're already good at. You need help with the stuff that you're trying to get good at. So yeah, that's perfect.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome, guys. And this works for everything. So just keep that in mind. Your little principles you learned today work for all conversations.
It's breaking up.
This was great. I have a question for you, Louis.
Go for it.
Okay, thank you.
Your videos that you do you have like a marketing team? Your videos be just, I love them.
Which one? The video I just did about the jobs in Naples?
All of them. Like, do you have somebody edit your videos? Like, all your videos look really, really nice.
Yeah, you're looking at them. It's me.
Oh,
Nice.
I used to, when we had Culture, you guys know what kind of a behemoth we had at Culture. I had three editors working for us, video guys, editors. And yeah, man, I mean, like that was what I was gearing towards, is creating like a media company, and then having the real estate obviously be kind of like its sister company. But after COVID, I had to lay those guys off because our situation changed dramatically. So I'm building back up towards that. So media for me is a passion, even though I know I shouldn't be spending that many hours editing videos. And one day, hopefully soon, I can hire someone to start doing that process. It's the fact that, you fall victim to the things you love sometimes. Like, you shouldn't be, maybe doing someone's hair still, Tammy, or you shouldn't be, maybe cleaning your house for a deep cleaning for 3 hours on the weekend, because that's the way you relieve your stress and that's your meditation. For me, editing videos is my creative release. So, for instance, the whole creative process, I love it, and I love media. So I've been doing it myself, and hopefully soon we can get to the point where I can just hire someone and start to delegate and build that out again. But thank you, I appreciate that. It means a lot to me. But yeah,
okay. Your videos are awesome.
thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that, and that's
I have to
you know,
hold my reins for not being one of your editors. I know I can't do it. I got too much going on,
oh yeah, absolutely.
but I do a lot of editing.
I give editors a lot of credit because editing. People think, oh, editing, you just slap a couple things together, and yeah, you can edit something like that. But it's kind of like saying you can play the piano by just smashing a couple keys and you're playing the piano. Yeah, but to make a beautiful product and a symphony and, you know, make a good, you know, music, you need to do things in a certain way, and there's a certain way to everything. So editing is no different. And yeah, one day we will build out, and you know, in Jesus' name, we'll build out a media company, and it'll be something that I could say I'm proud of. But right now, I'm a one-man show, and it's gonna it'll grow because I know that I have a passion behind it. So anything you're passionate about will eventually grow.
Mhm.
Thank you, Tammy, and yeah, we'll keep pumping them out. Thank you so much for that. Awesome. All
Great
right.
work, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, guys, great meeting today. Even though we're only a few here, I think we got so much value out of this hour and change that we dedicated here. And again, obviously, we'll do it. We'll do it again next week, and we'll brush up. And I think I know that these role play trainings that we're doing are the most valuable ones out of all the trainings that we can do. Because at the end of the day, it's like that's really what we need to master is our dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much.
All right, so let's go ahead and close out with our prayer. Dear Lord Jesus, thank you so much, Father, for giving us the opportunity to be here, Father, on July 5th, Father, the day after our Independence Day, which is something that, Father, we hope to never have to need from you is be independent. We want to always be interdependent of you, my Lord, and we ask you, Father, to always walk with us and teach us new things just like you did today. Father, we ask you to put these principles that we learned on this call into effect and to allow us, Father, to make time this week to become better versions of ourselves, Father, by practicing and helping ourselves and our families simultaneously by becoming the best possible version of ourselves that you expect us to be, my Lord. Thank you, Father. We ask you to forgive us for all the things that we've done, Father, that are not in your ways. And we ask you to please look over our families and our loved ones and anyone who needs your prayers right now, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you, everyone. Have
Amen.
an amazing day, amazing week.
Amen.
Thank you. Bye,
Thanks, guys.
ladies.
You too.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.